Since it appears we might have found like a pain relieving topic, we'll make a third installment in that in what we're talking about. The main goal is to make people who would watch this aware of the water crisis in a way that helps break through any blocks they have or anyone they'd like to talk to about it that has something to do with prejudice against what they call environmentalism, which half of the country and half of the political class thinks is a issue for other kinds of people, but not them because it's something to do with the environment and that's not their game. Well, the water thing is too severe, too important, and too frightening for that to be going on. This should be of interest to the entire political class and everyone, regardless of your level of awareness of other so-called environmental issues. This has to do with water. Water here and water elsewhere, water all over the planet, and the fact that, like, the one thing we can't live without is water. Millions and millions and millions of people do not have water to drink at this time. It's also a big part of what's, driving people to make desperate attempts to get into our country. Like, there's a water shortage for polluted water where they are, and we know why it's happening. It's a big part of what are called free trade agreements. Here's the important thing to know in this third part, and these are just basic, this is sort of a basic picture of things, but hopefully would add up to someone being able to talk to anyone about the topic and make them aware without any of these weird liberal conservative divides in the population or whatever that's about. Okay. The thing is this, the way these transnationals, particularly the agro sector, has been able to do this is that the rhetoric that we're hearing all the time that has to do with getting government out of the way and all this, and the government's too big and the state has to shrink and everything, that's the sort of rhetoric. But when they have people who are experts in trade law write up these free trade agreements, it becomes like an issue that actually has very real consequences and isn't so abstract, and the consequences are actually like genocidal to both us and the planet. So all this nonsense about, let's shrink the size of government, if it's put into action at the transnational level in a way that harms every single nation on the planet as a whole and human beings as a whole, we have to think seriously about whether or not we want to take the rhetoric to that extent. So here's the story. Trying to stop state intervention and the notion that, the ideological notion that, markets and privatization does everything better. What's happened is that under all these free trade agreements, backed up by organizations like the World Trade Organization and the World Bank, who craft these things with trade experts who operate above the economy and above the government and have nothing to do with any economy. But what they've done is they are now allowing this gigantic industrial agricultural practice to do whatever it wishes in the countries it goes to. They have created water scarcity and a total pollution of all the water supplies. What the hell is this now? Someone's knocking. Oh, I don't want to do it. Someone knocking on our door. Is this a game again?